Welcome to our classes, my YouTube channel. I am Dr. KK Mishra. Today I am going to deal with most important topic, that is international commercial terms, in short known as Incoterms. These keep on changing. Now today I am going to cover the Incoterms rules 2020, that is international commercial terms. As I said, that this is very important for not only MBA students but also even professionals who are dealing in international trade and business. I feel that everybody, those who are in corporate world dealing with international trade and business, they must understand what are international commercial terms. Incoterms rules 2020. The question is, what are Incoterms? Incoterms are a standard set of terminology created by the International Chamber of Commerce (ICC), that everybody should know it, used universally, defining the key parts of freight forwarding. In 1936, the ICC first defined the international commercial terminology, that is INCO, international, in from commerce it is CO, and from terminology it is taken as term. So that's how Incoterms, this phrase comes into being, again from international commercial terminology. And we have summarized the 11 Incoterms which have recently been revised by the ICC Incoterms Drafting Committee for 2020. Let me tell you that earlier they used to be 13 in numbers. Now, since the changes have been taking place across the decade, so the important ones, in fact, they have reduced it to now 11 for the understanding and for using it in a simpler manner for the purpose of ease of doing international business and trade. As I earlier said, that these are really important, that everybody needs to understand. Now come to more details about Incoterms rules 2020. The International Chambers of Commerce has released the Incoterms 2020 update of their international trade terms for the sale of goods. The new version of Incoterms 2020 takes effect as of January 1st, 2020. The Incoterms rules define the division of responsibilities between a seller and a buyer for the tasks, costs, and risks involved in delivering merchandise. First introduced in 1936, they have been revised on a regular basis to reflect changes in the international trade. Since 1980, they have been updated every 10 years. Last it was updated in 2011. The Incoterms revisions are changed in style and substance, improve certain aspects of the Incoterms, and includes detailed explanation of how to choose the most appropriate Incoterms rule for a sale contract. Everyone who works with importation and exportation should know all the Incoterms, international commercial terms. It's a very important subject that helps not only traders but also lawyers, transporters, and insurers. Some Incoterms are used for AD mode or modes of transport like EXS, FCA, CPT, CIP, DAT, DAP, and DDP. Other Incoterms for sea and inland waterway transport like FAS, FOV, CFR, and CIF. Now, the first one, say EXW, also in short known as Ex Works. Ex Works means, or EXW means, that the seller fulfills his obligation to deliver when he has made the goods available at his premises to the buyer. Here, this is the point to be noted. In particular, he is not responsible for loading the goods on the vehicle provided by the buyer or for clearing the goods for export. Unless otherwise agreed, the buyer bears all costs and risks involved in taking the goods from the seller's premises to the desired destination. This term thus represents the minimum obligation for the seller. Again, ex works means that at the factory, means at the seller's site only the buyer has to come and collect the goods. The seller does not have the responsibility to send it to the buyer's destination. That's how we understand ex works. Next, FCA, free carrier. FCA means free carrier. FCA, the seller fulfills his obligation to deliver when he has handed over the goods cleared for export into the charge of the carrier named by the buyer at the named place or point. Here, this is the distinction that we need to keep in our mind. This is the basic difference. If no precise point is indicated by the buyer, the seller may choose within the place or range stipulated, but the carrier shall take the goods into his charge. When, according to commercial practice, the seller's assistance is required in making the contract with the carrier, the seller may act at the buyer's risk and expense. After all, here the expenditure for this particular favor sought from the buyer's side is to be borne by the buyer himself, not the seller. So that's how FCA is used. Then there is another term, FAS, free alongside ship. FAS means that the seller fulfills his obligation to deliver when the goods have been placed alongside the vessel on the quay or in lighters at the named port of shipment. This means that the buyer has to bear all costs and risks of loss of or damage to the goods from that moment. FOB, free on board. FOB means that the seller fulfills his obligation to deliver when he places the goods on board at the port departure. This means that the buyer has to bear all costs and the risks of loss of or damage to the goods from that point. The FOB term requires the seller to clear the goods for export. These explanations will be helpful to you to understand the basic differences among the terms, in fact, explained so far. CFR, that is cost and freight. CFR means that the seller must pay the costs and freight necessary to bring the goods to the named port of destination, but the risk of loss of or damage to the goods as well as any additional costs due to events occurring after the time the goods have been delivered on board the vessel is transferred from the seller to the buyer when the goods pass the ship's rail in the port of shipment. The CFR term requires the seller to clear the goods for export. This term can only be used for sea and inland waterway transport. CIF, cost and insurance and freight. CIF means that the seller delivers the goods on board the vessel or procures the goods already so delivered. The risk of loss of or damage to the goods passes when the goods are on board the vessel. The seller must contract for and pay the cost and freight necessary to bring the goods to the named port of destination. The seller also contracts for insurance cover against the buyer's risk of loss of or damage to the goods during the carriage. The buyer should note that under CIF, the seller is required to obtain insurance only on minimum cover. Should the buyer wish to have more insurance protection, it will need either to agree as much expressly with the seller or to make its own extra insurance arrangements. CPT. This is another important term out of 11. Carriers paid to. CPT means that the seller pays the freight for the carriers of the goods to the named destination. The risk of loss of or damage to the goods as well as any additional costs due to events occurring after time the goods have been delivered to the carrier is transferred from the seller to the buyer when the goods have been delivered into the custody of the carrier. Carrier means any person who, in a contract of carriers, undertakes to perform or to procure the performance of carriers by rail, road, sea, air, inland waterway, or by a combination of such modes. The CPT term requires the seller to clear the goods for export. CIP, carriers and insurance paid to. CIP means that the seller delivers the goods to the carrier or another person nominated by the seller at an agreed place, and that the seller must contract for and pay the cost of carriers necessary to bring the goods to the named place of destination. The seller also contracts for insurance cover against the buyer's risk of loss of or damage to the goods during the carriers. The buyer should note that under CIP, the seller is required to obtain insurance only on minimum cover. Should the buyer wish to have more insurance protection, it will need either to agree as much expressly with the seller or to make its own extra insurance arrangements. That is delivered at terminal. That means DAT. That means that the seller delivers when the goods, once unloaded from the arriving means of transport, are placed at the disposal of the buyer at a named terminal, at the named port or place of destination. Here, terminal includes a place where, whether covered or not, such as quay, warehouse, container yard, or road, rail, or air cargo terminal. The seller bears all risks involved in bringing the goods to and unloading them at the terminal at the named port or place of destination. Then there is DAP, that is delivered at place. That means that the seller delivers when the goods are placed at the disposal of the buyer on the arriving means of transport, ready for unloading at the named place of destination. The seller bears all risks involved in bringing the goods to the named place. DDP, that is delivered duty paid. DDP means that the seller delivers the goods when the goods are placed at the disposal of the buyer, cleared for import on the arriving means of transport, ready for unloading at the named place of destination. The seller bears all the costs and risks involved in bringing the goods to the place of destination and has an obligation to clear the goods not only for export but also for import, to pay any duty for both export and import, and to carry out all customs formalities. So this was all about these important Incoterms. As earlier I said, these are really important for all those who are in the business, international business and trade, means involved in importation or exportation of goods. Mind it is goods, not the services. I hope that you have liked it, and let me tell you that more such video tutorials are already uploaded on my YouTube channel related to marketing and sales terms. I hope that you have liked this particular video tutorial. If you have liked it, please subscribe my channel and press the bell button and pass it on to others, those who are needy now and in the future. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a nice time. God bless you.